Hi everyone. First of all, a little bit introduction of myself. So, my name is Krish Kohli. I'm currently studying in Sri Ram College of Commerce, and I'm pursuing economics honors. And I honestly, obviously, I did well in CUET, and that's why I'm here. And so, CUET was a different exam, and all of us, for our batch, it was the first time, like all of you would know. So there was not an exact pattern that we prepared for, and there was not an exact strategy. But for your batch, I feel that given our experience and everything, it would be like much easier to guide you all. So I'll assume, I from all the information that I have is that the pattern is still the same, like 45 questions, no 40 questions in 45 minutes, right? So for our batch also it was the same. So I just have a few tips that I use to get a score well in CVT. And as a matter of fact, I scored 100 percentile in economics and BST, 99.98 percentile in mathematics, 99.99 percentile in general test, even though I'm pursuing economics honors. So a lot of students also have this doubt that if the number of courses that they should apply for, and there's a lot of thing about like being flexible in your choices, and having a wide scope. So on a personal level, I feel that it is absolutely fine to keep a lot of options, but at the end of the day you should know what courses that you would like to prioritize in the first place. For example, I applied for economics honors, BCom honors, BMS, BFIA, but at the end of the day I knew that if I'm given all the four options, I would choose economics honors, and that is what happened with me. So I was given the option, in my CUET, I got 30 rank for BMS and 28 for BFIA. So I was easily qualifying for Shahid Sukhdev as well. But since I was also qualifying for Sri Ram College of Commerce, I knew that this is what I wanted, and that is why I chose that course. So knowing what you want is really very important when you're preparing for such an exam. But there is no harm in keeping a lot of options, because sometimes things do not go as per our plan. So that is one thing. Coming to the preparation, so CUET, one thing that I personally observed in CUET exam is that for our batch, they just gave us questions directly from NCRT for all the subjects, excluding maths and general test. Okay, for accounts, business studies, and economics, the questions were directly from the NCRT book. So, and any given point in time, if you feel that which material you should refer, the answer should always be NCRT. NCRT is the Bible for this exam, because in our exam also the questions were picked, like the entire line was just put and copied there for the exam. So it is really important to be thorough with your NCRT, and that is something that I did. Like I had gone through my NCRT like 3 to 4 times. So I feel that really helped me a lot, because I was like, I honestly like saw the question and I was like, I know this answer. So that becomes easy for any subject. And for maths it is really very important to have your formulas like on your fingertips, because honestly maths was one of the toughest exams ever. Because I remember very clearly that in my CUET maths exams there were 4 questions that were from JEE mains exam, that I got to know from one of my science friends. So I'm from the commerce background. Okay. So that is one thing. So you cannot predict what is going to come in the question paper. You can only do what you know the best. So for maths, I feel as long as your concepts are clear and your formulas are clear, you can definitely do well. There will be 1 or 2 questions that will be out of the box, as always. So that is basically a differentiating factor between good and the best students. That can be like that will always be there. The entire exam will not be very easy. There will be some part of it that will be easy, that will be moderate, and that will be hard. The differentiating factor is between moderate and hard, because easy anyone can do that, because all the students have a basic level of preparation. That is one thing. So for one tip that I would like to give for maths is that prepare your own formula sheets for each and every chapter. That is something that I personally did, and I used to refer to that formula sheet each and every day. So that would really help me a lot, because till date, even when I'm studying economics honors, I use all these mathematical formulas of integration and differentiation almost every day. So having a good command at that time on these formulas really still helps me up to till date. So if you're like giving maths UET exam, it is very important to be very thorough with your formulas. Another thing for math students that I would recommend is that to learn to like practice skipping a few steps, because when you're preparing for board exams, you need to show the entire method. You need to write which theorem you're using or what particular identity you are using. That is not the case in CUET, because only your final answer matters. So the start, when you're solving questions, try to like skip a few steps and see if you're able to get the answer. If you're finding it difficult, go for the long process. It's not a worry, but try to like speed up the process as much as you can, because questions in maths are really going to be very tough. And doing 40 questions in 45 minutes is really extraordinary. And like in my CUET maths exam, as I mentioned, there were 4 questions from the compulsory section. The 15 questions that were there, they were out from JEE mains, so I was not able to attempt that. But one mistake that I did was that I spent a lot of time on that. So I honestly, like, after that, I lost a lot of time, but I had to cover it up in other questions. So other than those 4 questions, the other 36 questions I attempted with 100% accuracy. So that is one thing that you should aim for. Like, even if you don't get all your correct answers, because that is never the aim of an entrance exam, to get all the correct answers. If you do very well, but you should also ensure that in this CUET exam, you have negative marking also. So more than being correct or like attempting maximum number of questions, you need to keep in mind that you need to be very efficient, and you need to make sure that the answer that you're giving is absolutely correct. Because if it's not only do you lose the gap of 4 to 5 marks, that will be the weightage of that question, but you'll also be scoring a negative mark that will affect your overall score. So try to avoid negative markings as much as possible. If you're not sure about a question, leave it for then. Because for other subjects like BST accounts, there were like an option of, out of 50 questions, you have to do 40, right? So you have the option of leaving 10 questions. So if there is a question that you're doubtful about, you don't have to waste your time on it. Leave it for later. And given that CUET is an online exam, it's a computer-based test. In the panel of all the questions, you will see which questions you have left. So it is very important to like see that. Second, yeah, so again, like if you see, there are a few questions. This is for the general test part of it. Okay, so general test is basically for your quantitative and logical reasoning and current affairs. These are the 3 main components of the general test. For general test, for the general knowledge part of it and the current affairs, refer to your newspaper and like go through the last 4 to 6 months current affairs. Just go through all these current affairs summary of last 4 to 6 months, because technically GK questions are the basically a domain that you can tackle very easily, because there is only 2 outcomes possible. If you know the answer, you will do it under 10 seconds. If you don't know it, you know it after you see the question that you don't know this answer, so you don't have to waste time on that. So GK questions have a lot of scope in scoring, so try to be as thorough with it as possible. In our exam, the quants was a bit tough, because quants is different from your normal maths exam. Because quants is uses like this time, speed, and distance, and all these other topics. They are different from your conventional mathematics. So these topics they cannot master over a day. So you need to like practice as much as possible, because that will be the only thing that will differentiate you, and like it will save your time. Because uh, another thing is that you should know the fundamental. Like a lot of students, they just ask me, ki, Bhaiya, where do you learn the shortcuts for it? One, you don't start with the shortcuts. If you're preparing, you do not start with the shortcuts, because you need to understand that the question can be twisted and turned. And so you should know the basic fundamental aspects of any question. Like, why are we solving it the way it is being solved? That is one thing. You cannot rote learn your way through an entrance exam. That can only be done for theory subjects of BST and economics. And even that, to some extent, gets restricted if it's application based questions. I'll answer the questions later, by the way. So, coming to English, okay, English was another subject that a lot of students face difficulty in with regards to what will be the vocabulary and how do you tackle vocabulary, reading comprehensions, and jumbled sentences and other unseen passages. Practice, practice, practice. These are the only 3 things that matter in an English exam. You cannot and learn all the, like, you cannot go out and learn the dictionary and stuff. That is not at all possible. You can just practice a variety of questions in English, the variety of unseen passages. With regards to unseen passages, this is one small tip, that read the questions before you read the passage, so that when we are reading your passage, you can, get some idea ki, okay, this question's answer will be in this paragraph or this paragraph. That helps in marking that easily. So it saves a lot of time. Coming to vocabulary, again, as I said, CUET has options of leaving questions. So if you're not entirely comfortable with vocabulary, you can leave those questions. But if you want to build up your vocabulary, and which I would recommend personally, because vocabulary is very important, you can refer to a book called Word Power Made Easy. It's a comprehensive guide, and honestly, when you start doing that book, you'll realize why I mentioned this, because that book is an absolute guide to your vocabulary. Like, there won't be a word that you won't be able to find the origin of, or like tell the meaning of, after you complete that book. If you do that book, your vocabulary is sorted, at least for entrance exams. Third thing that I would like to say is that you need to understand that CUET as an exam, it has like, honestly, our entire syllabus like condensed in 40 in 50 questions, out of which you have to attempt 40 in 45 minutes. You need to realize that you cannot spend a lot of time in thinking how you want to like answer those questions. You need to have knowledge of all the topics that will be there in that examination. You should be very thorough with it. And the only way to do that is to like revise regularly from time to time. Now you can revise or for revision, you cannot go through the entire book. So this is when I'll recommend you to make your own notes when you are reading through your NCRT. Because notes, first of all, they save a lot of time. Two, they help you realize that what are your weak topics, or which are one or two topics that you don't realize. So these things are really very important when you are giving your exam, because you need to be very thorough. Okay, where is this question from? How do I answer it? What is the answer? If you prepare your own notes, you can like refer to them on a daily basis, because referring to your notes takes like hardly 30 minutes, no matter how comprehensive your notes are. In 30 minutes, you get done with the subject. So if you revise regularly, can just see if you still remember the topic. If you don't, you just refer to that particular section of your book. So again, making notes is something that I would recommend, because it saves time, and one, it is very efficient, because again, the more you see, the more you read, the more you practice, the better you are able to perform in your exam. Another thing that I would like to tell each and every one of you is that all the questions in your CUET examination have the same weightage. So it is not that you have to attempt the most difficult questions because they'll have more marks. No, you can just find the easy ones throughout your question paper and just attempt those. Like as I said, there are 50 questions, right? So out of 50, 30 will be easy. 20, like out of that, 15 will be moderate, and 5 will be extra, like tough questions. So you don't need to like focus on the tough questions a lot. Even if you do just the easy and the moderate ones, you will be like able to score very well. So if you find that some question is very tough, or it will take a lot of time to solve that, you can just leave that as and when it comes. Because honestly, there's no point wasting 5 to 10 minutes on a particular question if it has the same weightage as any other question that would take your 30 seconds to 1 minute. So you need to prioritize which questions you want to do. So again, this is something that you develop over time with practice. You just read a question and you know that this is going to be a lengthy question, or this is going to take less time. Just differentiate that. If you think it will take more than a minute, just mark on your rough paper that which question it is, and then come back to it later after you're done with the entire paper. This is a strategy that I followed in all my exams. So in BST economics also, there were a few questions that did not click to me on the spot. So what I did was I just attempted the question that I knew, and that covered like 35 questions. So I was done with about 35 questions in the first 20 minutes. So the other 25 minutes that I had, I could just spend on the remaining 5 questions and see like which one could I attempt, and which one could I take a risk for. Is the risk even worth taking for or not? So you need to really understand that negative marking takes a very important role here. So if you attempt 40 out of 40 questions and 39 of them are correct and one is wrong, whereas there is another student who has just attempted 39 correct answers, the other student will have more marks than you, just because the other person smartly chose not to attempt the last question because they were not sure about it. So instead of having a wrong answer, just make sure to like be very confident with what you do. And another important thing before I take on the questions is that you need to realize that exam preparation, be it your board exams or your entrance exams, it is very important to take care of your health. Like, do not just from morning till noon just stay with your books and just stay in front of laptop reading, practicing questions. Take some time out for yourself and go out, have some, talk to your friends, not on Instagram or WhatsApp if it is distracting for you, if you end up spending a lot of time on it. Okay, just call them up or like go and hang out with your friends or in your neighborhood. Just take some time out away from these books, because that is one thing that will help you calm your brain from all the exam preparation. Because honestly, I have been in your place, last year as like it's been just 1 year. So I know how the pressure builds up and how all the negative thoughts start coming in. So it's very important to de-stress yourself, and you don't detach yourself from all your studies. So that is another thing. Coming to question by Monali saying that preparation for CUET is different from boards. To some extent, yes, because board exams are more about writing long, lengthy answers with all the decorations and good handwriting and everything. And CUET is just about giving, like, clicking on the right option. So there are like different skills involved. As for the preparation part of it, you have to refer to the same books, you have to practice the same number of questions, you have to practice the same topics. But the difference is, instead of like having no idea what the options are or what the answer is going to be, in CUET exams, you have one advantage of scoring well is that you will be able to see all the options that are there. So even if you don't know after reading a question what is the correct answer, you can see the options and eliminate which is the wrong option. Because there are a few questions just see and that this particular option can never be the answer. And there is also this trick that a lot of students use, that if you are confused between the options, just choose the one which has the longest explanation, because this is some sort of psychological tactic that if an examiner is sitting and writing a very big explanation for an option, they just don't mean to keep it just because it's a wrong option. So if you want to take a risk, choose the option which has the longest explanation. This does not work for subjects like mathematics and English, so please do not try that. uh, Talking about life in Delhi University, well, Delhi University is quite different from what I expected, honestly. And this is something that you'll realize once you get into Delhi University. All the expectations you have of a very great college life will be like, they won't be fulfilled directly. Like Delhi University or any other college for that matter is going to be very different from what you can expect out of it. Like this is not something you can prepare yourself for. And because this is something that you learn over time, this is something that I am adjusting myself to. So honestly, like all the best when you get here, but is it worth the efforts you get? Okay, I'll be honest. So this might sound a bit sad to you, but SRCC is just like any other college in Delhi University. Like our professors do not teach us any extra thing, or we don't study any extra books. We just study the same books and we have the same professor, same lectures and everything. On the other hand, I would like to like add that I honestly feel, since I have other friends in other colleges as well, SRCC has like least amount of classes and the professors, and like the study environment is a bit too chill in SRCC, to be honest. But if you're talking about the worth in it, definitely yes. Because the first day that I went to SRCC, I just stood in front of the famous clock tower. I had my picture clicked. And that is one moment that I realized that day, this is something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. SRCC is SRCC just because of its name, of its fame, and the people you meet there. The curriculum throughout any college in Delhi University is going to be same. The only difference is going to be the people you meet there. Because in SRCC, all the people you meet there are toppers of their own schools, of their own zones, of their own district. So, like in SRCC, if you just take a stone and throw it at somebody, the person will be the topper of some or the other college or some other school. So that is something that differentiates SRC from any other college, is that everybody will be a topper of their own college. So in when you are in an environment where everybody is just absolutely smart and incredible, like one thing that I like about SRCC from any other college is the quality of people that are there. So this is something that differentiates a good college from an average college, right? And this is not me boasting about SRCC just because I am from it. I've also had conversations with my friends from other colleges, and I've also visited a few other colleges and seen the kind of people that there are. I'm not saying any college is bad. Honestly, all the colleges leave you very independent, so the kind of path that you choose will be up to you. If you like, you want motivation, definitely you should target SRCC, just because of the people you're going to meet there, and because this has been there for like since so long, that you will always end up in each and every batch, no matter what generation, like even 50 years back, you always met the best kind of people in SRCC, and that is something, the legacy will always be there, and that is for like that's given. And if you want to know if you should like target any other college, definitely like I was also in St. Xavier's College, Kolkata for a month because of the delay in CUET admissions. So, honestly, college like St. Xavier's, they also had a very high cutoff for boards, and I cleared that, and I was there for a month. So, even that college, from education point of view, it is absolutely wonderful. So you should explore colleges as much as you can. And definitely, Delhi University cannot be the final destination for everyone. Like you need to find what suits you and what kind of environment do you want to get in. If you think that you will get a very academic environment in Delhi University, that is true to some extent, but the mostly it is just about having fun and going to places. So that is one thing. Any reading comprehension strategy? Okay, so as I mentioned that if you're attempting reading comprehension, it is very important to like first go through all the questions and options that are there and then read the passage, because then it helps you understand ki, okay, this is then you can associate ki, okay, this question is from this paragraph. I'll find you, it gets easier to find your answer. Another strategy. Okay, yeah. So I'll try to wrap it. Any strategy? Okay. So other than that, you can try to make sure that when you take notes of the passage you're reading. So if you're reading a passage, you feel, there's this gut feeling that you can, that the question might come from this part of the passage. So just try to make short notes of the passage, just and write down important keyword. Just write paragraph one, this keyword, say paragraph two, this keyword, and then try to see if that keyword comes in the question, and then you can attempt your question accordingly.